So I see all these physicists on interviews and on YouTube videos claiming that astrology is a hoax, astrology is a pseudoscience and doesn't work. And then I'm like, okay, since I research into these things, I want to make sure that maybe it is a hoax. You never know. So I watched their video and see the explanation, and seeing that these are PhD doctors, that they would do some actual research, they have the most dumbest perspective on proving astrology as a hoax. So I watched this video of this really old physicist lady in Europe. Okay, she's like a doctor, she's 80 years old, and she goes, yes, astrology is the biggest hoax because people think that these stars in the sky are influencing people and they're making them behave in a month, like in a month of Leo, then these people are a certain way, and these stars are so far apart from each other that this constellation doesn't even exist, or this drawing of a lion. And I'm wondering, wow, bravo to your research. So let me tell you in a quick 5-minute video that constellations do not mean shit in astrology. How far are stars from each other to make up the constellation? It doesn't mean squat. We don't give a shit in the astrological world. If you know about astrology, it doesn't matter. If the sky was blank with no stars, just the planets, that's all we needed. Okay, but we would have been able to actually determine the Leo constellation, the Scorpio, the Aries constellation probably now, because even if there's no star now in the 21st century, we're able to detect that this sector of the sky is Leo. If there was suddenly the stars disappear, this sector of the sky is Aries, this sector of the sky is Capricorn. That's all it was for astrologers back in India 5,000 to 8,000 years ago, who discovered astrology, that they just used the stars, that look all these bunch of dots in the sky, that in the Leo constellation, you don't have to make a lion out of it. You can make a snake out of it. You can make a cell phone out of this constellation. You can have a cell phone constellation. You can call it the eye sign or something instead of Leo. It doesn't matter. It's that 30-degree sector of the sky, because the sky is a 360-degree perspective, and in that, if you divide it by 30 degrees, it comes out to 12 signs. So just that sector of the sky, when the planets are coming through, Mars, Venus, Uranus, Neptune are coming through and going through in their transit, and if somebody's born in that sector with these planets in different positions of the sky, that's what matters. The stars and their distance doesn't mean shit. So don't try to explain astrology in a way that it's for somebody who has studied astrology will laugh at you thinking you're dumb. Even if you want to prove this as a hoax, really do some research and make it as a legitimate, point. Because it seems like they have not learned anything about astrology for them to even explain how astrology is actually studied. Next, there's no Mercury. What if there's no Uranus or Saturn? Then what are you going to do? Do you know that even if a planet like Pluto was to blow up in the solar system, or even Mercury was to blow up in the solar system, the smallest planet, this whole solar system would just be destroyed? There would be no life if even one planet was to move from our solar system, because I know the science is not there yet, okay, but science will figure out, okay, from the ancient science, that there is a string between each planet, a gravitational string, and this string is what keeping each planet linked to the sun. When they find out, when they discover, that day will come, if we are smart enough to, or if our world governments are generous enough to show us whatever they have discovered in space. Okay, but and also I hear argues like, oh, what if in future we are born on the moon or Mars, then what? What is going to happen to astrology then? Okay? Let me tell you, if you're born on the moon, or you're born on Mars, okay, so let's say if a baby is born on Mars in the next 50 years, the Earth will start influencing this baby versus Mars. Okay, the energies of Mars is there in him, like energy of Earth is in us when we are born, when we're living on it. Okay, that's why we can't jump high, because the magnetic force keeps us on the ground. The Earth is influencing us more than any other planet, but when you're born on a different body or planet, the body that you moved away from will start influencing you, because now that body is in the sky going in through the constellations. Okay, so again, this is, you can keep arguing about this, but it's influencing people in a way that there are invisible rays of a planet. Okay, so let's say if this is the baby, okay, and this is the planet, these are the planets transiting. So when the baby is born, okay, so if let's say November 1st 2011 a baby is going to be born, so let's say Mercury is here, but then Jupiter is way back there. What's happening is Mercury's rays are very heavy on this baby versus the Jupiter rays, which are far, so it's taking longer and it's in a very light form. Okay, but when the Earth is moving, sometimes Mercury is far away and Jupiter rays are much closer to the baby. This is how these things work. This is how the DNA is influenced. This is how the neurotransmitters in our brain, the current, the flow of the current in our neurotransmitters is based upon the rays that are attracted during birth. Because as soon as you're born, suddenly things attack you. And these neurotransmitters that are first born in the hypodermia, the memory part, okay, and it goes through all the way to your, interior of the cell wall, okay, it's called tau protein, okay, they affect the tau protein that keeps your memories together, so everything that you're learning. And so let's say if your Mercury rays are light, the tau protein that is creating these memories for you either will help you learn quicker or will not help you learn, things easily. And this is what will influence them down the line. Maybe you will not finish school because you can't learn as good as somebody who has the Mercurian rays in him, that the protein is so well in the brain that the neurotransmitters are traveling at a much faster speed than the other. So again, it can be explained scientifically too. But anyway, I just wanted to tell all the physicists out there that if you want to prove this or debunk this, science, or this pseudoscience, I should say, give a much better explanation to the people than giving them something that you made up. Okay, don't assume how astrology was created. Know how astrology was created, then make an argument. Anyway, subscribe above, guys. So, love to have more subscribers. Make sure you comment and let me know what you thought of this video. Also, check out my website for my novel, Kairos, The Message of Pascal, and my astrological website, because there I also talk about the influence of astrology in Washington, D.C., how it's embedded in Washington, D.C., and the Vatican Church. Alright, thank you.